Hello, today we're going to cover section 8.2, Polynomial Arithmetic. The objectives of this section are to add and subtract polynomials, and multiply polynomials by double distributive property. So first let's add and subtract polynomials. To add or subtract polynomials, we combine like terms with the same exponents on the variables. In particular, if we are subtracting a polynomial, we must remember to use the distributive property first. Example 1, perform the following operations. So when I'm adding and subtracting polynomials, I actually will line them up vertically instead of horizontally. Now when you do this, you just have to remember to line up all the terms. Sometimes you're going to have to add a zero term or just leave a blank place if they don't have the same number of terms. Here, we're just fine. So we're adding. So then I just go through and add. -1 plus 8 is positive 7. 7x plus negative 3x is positive 4x. Negative 6x squared plus 4x squared is negative 2x squared. And 2x cubed plus 5x cubed is positive 7x cubed, but since it's in the front, I don't need the plus sign. So there's our answer. Okay, B, 3x squared minus 6x plus 4 minus 4x squared minus 5x minus 9. So because we're subtracting here, I'm going to distribute the negative first so I don't make any mistakes, and that'll change the problem into addition. So 3x squared minus 6x plus 4 plus negative 4x squared plus 5x plus 9. Because when you distribute the negative, all the signs change. Then you go through and add. 4 plus 9 is positive 13. Negative 6 plus 5x is negative 1x. And 3x squared plus negative 4x squared is negative 1x squared. So our answer is negative x squared minus x plus 13. And then C. We have 9x to the 5th plus 3x to the 4th minus 7x cubed plus 6x squared minus 11 plus 4x to the 5th plus 5x squared minus 9. So notice how I left blanks? You can go ahead and put 0x to the 4th and 0x cubed, though, if you're not comfortable with there being a blank. And then minus, let me change this. So minus 6x to the 6th plus 7x cubed plus x squared minus 1. So here, I would put a 0x to the 5th and 0x to the 4th. So now we have to distribute that negative first before we do anything. So negative 6, negative 0, negative 0, negative 7, negative x squared, plus 1. Now that we're adding everything, we go through and add. Negative 11 plus negative 9 is negative 20, plus 1 is negative 19. 6x squared plus 5x squared plus negative x squared is 10x squared. Negative 7x cubed plus 0x cubed minus 7x cubed is negative 14x cubed. 3x to the 4th plus 0x to the 4th plus negative 0x to the 4th is 3x to the 4th. 9x to the 5th plus 4x to the 5th is 13x to the 5th. And then nothing plus negative x, 6x to the 6th is negative 6x to the 6th. So our final answer is negative 6x to the 6th plus 13x to the 5th plus 3x to the 4th minus 14x cubed plus 10x squared minus 19. Now let's multiply polynomials. To multiply a monomial with a polynomial, use the distributive property once. When multiplying two polynomials, you must use both left and right forms of the distributive property. So multiplying the following polynomials and write the result in standard form. So for A, we do just have a monomial times a polynomial. So you take this times x cubed, so that's 2x to the fifth. This times 3x is negative 6x cubed, and 2x squared times 1 is 2x squared. Now for 3x minus 4 times 2x minus 5, I'm going to show you how to do it vertically in case you like to do it that way, and then for C, I'll use it just using the distributive property. So just like with addition and subtraction, we can do this vertically. So multiplying. So negative 5 times negative 4 is positive 20. Negative 5 times 3x is negative 15x. Then you move on to the next term. So 2x times negative 4 is negative 8x, and you just line them up. And then 2x times 3x is 6x squared. Then you add these two results together. So you get positive 20, negative 23x, 6x squared. And there we multiplied 3x minus 4 times 2x minus 5. And the reason why some students like doing it vertically is it reminds them of multiplying two or three digit numbers together. Other students, just for simplicity, do like just using the distributive property like we'll do in part C. So with the distributive property, you just have to remember to multiply each term by each term. So 3x times 4x squared is 12x cubed. 3x times 3x is 9x squared. And then 3x times negative 6 is negative 18x. Then don't forget to take the negative 1. So negative 1 times 4x squared is negative 4x squared. Negative 1 times 3x is negative 3x. And negative 1 times negative 6 is positive 6. Then you go through and combine like terms. So 12x cubed plus 5x squared minus 21x plus 6 is our final answer. And now on to special products. Even though we could use the distributive property all the time for these, it's nice to know these for section 8.3 because it'll make factoring easier for us. So let's multiply the following expressions and simplify to complete the following special product forms. So for example, u plus v squared. Do not distribute that 2. You can't distribute exponents over addition. So the only thing that we can do is that we know that u plus v squared means u plus v times u plus v. And then we distribute this. So u times u is u squared. U times v is uv. V times u is also uv. And v times v is v squared. Then combining like terms, we get u squared plus 2uv plus v squared. So in other words, this square of a binomial, you can think of it as squaring the first term plus double the product of the two terms plus squaring the last term. Now what changes when there's a minus sign instead of a plus sign? Well, that would be u minus v times u minus v. Then u times u is u squared. U times negative v is negative uv. Negative v times u is negative uv. Then negative v times negative v, well, the double negative will make it positive v squared. So then we get u squared minus 2uv plus v squared. So notice that even though the middle operation changes from addition to subtraction, we still have plus as the second operation. Then we have difference of squares. Why is this called difference of squares? You'll see once we get the answer. U times u is u squared. U times negative v is negative uv. V times u is positive uv. And then v times negative v is negative v squared. Here, the negative uv cancels out the positive uv, so then we're left with u squared minus v squared. And that's where difference of squares comes into play. Sum of cubes, u plus v times u squared minus uv plus v squared. So u times u squared is u cubed. U times negative uv is negative u squared v. And u times v squared is positive uv squared. And then v times u squared is positive u squared v. V times negative uv is negative uv squared. And then v times v cubed, v squared is v cubed. Well, the negative u squared v cancels out with the positive u squared v. The positive uv squared cancels out with the negative uv squared. So then we're left with u cubed plus v cubed. And that's why this one is called sum of cubes. Difference of cubes now. So kind of the same process. I'm going to go a little quicker now. So then you get the u squared v cancels out with the negative u squared v, and the uv squared cancels out with the negative uv squared, leaving us with u cubed minus v cubed, hence the name difference of cubes. So example 3 wants us to multiply these using the above information. So 2x plus 3 times 2x minus 3, well, that's difference of squares. So that's 2x squared minus 3 squared, or 4x squared minus 9 after we square everything. X minus 3 squared, well, that's a binomial squared, so it's square the first term minus double the first term times the second term plus the second term squared. And then you get x squared minus 6x plus 9 after you multiply stuff out. And then C, we have 3x plus 1 times 9x squared minus 3x plus 1. Because this looks like a sum of cubes to me, but before I can just use it, I do have to confirm something. That this term is this term squared. This term is this term squared. Then finally, the middle term is these two put together, which that meets all the requirements. So then I know this will just be 3x cubed plus 1 cubed, which is 27x cubed plus 1. And that's it for section 8.2.